Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Thanks so much for joining me here today on the Cabral Concept. Can't wait to get into our Friday review. Excited to share with you everything that's been going on in the practice for the past week. A lot of things with our online community group. Of course, some research I want to bring you. One of my absolute favorite health-based devices that I just got in the mail about 2 weeks ago and been using it and wanted to share it with you here today. A nice little study on decreasing blood pressure, improving mental cognition, which means memory, quick thinking, decreasing that brain fog, and also chance of a heart attack. And then last but never least, we will be going over a certain type of immune-based cell that could be overactive or underactive depending on chronic stress and inflammation and how to look for that marker. So looking forward to bringing you all of these topics here today. And we are going to get started before the research, before my product review, and before this lab results test that I want to bring you of how to read your own lab tests each and every Friday is going over what's been transpiring over this past week. So last Sunday night, or we'll say just Monday morning when I woke up of this week, my 7-day detox was over. Every spring, I do a 7-day detox, and that coincides with all the seasons. So I do one in summertime. My next one will be, and our next community challenge will be, because we've gotten quite a few questions on this, the week prior to the 4th of July here in the States. So I'll be doing that, and it's a great way to kick off summer. Lose those last couple pounds of body fat if you want, or just, of course, work on overall health and wellness. For me, the spring one's a great one. It's getting rid of all that excess heat stored in the body after the winter. It goes with the Ayurvedic-based philosophy and teachings that helps with inflammation, preparing yourself for the next season, which is more of a damper-based season with the spring. It increases the pitta in most people, or at least a lot of people, which can show up as allergies and inflammation and skin rashes and headaches, etc. So that's why I do mine. Again, I continue on with each and every season. But I'll tell you, we had so many people join us, which was amazing. But the truth is, it also gets you into a new, healthy way of living. So you can do it any time of the year that you want. You don't have to wait for the community detox. People do it, of course, each and every week. But the way is to maintain it. That's really what it's all about. I love the results that people post all over social media that they get with the 7-day detox. But what I enjoy more is how people say that it's changing their life for the better, that they're able to maintain and able to move more into less caffeine, more of a plant-based diet, more of just 3 meals throughout the day, or maybe 3 meals with a mid-afternoon smoothie, juice, or snack, etc. And just an easier, simpler way of living, less stress. So that's a great thing. And the truth is that you don't even need to stray too far from the actual detox plan. All I do is add some fruit in with my smoothie in the morning. It's a delicious way to make a smoothie, or a lot of times like we do with our girls in my family, is we make smoothie bowls. Basically make them like a little ice cream bowl. So it's super easy. So some days smoothies, some days ice cream bowls, whatever they're going to eat that morning, and a delicious way to get all of those nutrients in. You can add your daily nutritional support powder, your daily fruit and vegetable blend, which by the way now comes in crisp apple. And thank you everyone for your reviews of that and your feedback. We're glad that you're enjoying it. And of course, you can even put your daily probiotic support, anything you want right in that smoothie. So I follow, as I've said before, the daily foundational protocol level 3. Some people do level 1 or level 2. Totally up to you, whatever you feel is best for you. And then remember, save that cheat meal or those cheats for one time a week. If you're at your healthy goal weight, then great. You could do it twice if you want, as long as you're healthy, no inflammation, body's doing well. But a lot of people after dinner, they have a couple cookies or some ice cream, a little snack, even if it's only a little bit. Well, even that little bit adds to inflammation on a daily basis. What I prefer people to do is just, listen, if you're going to have cookies, let's just say after dinner, and you have it 4 times a week, pick one night, pick Saturday night, have a dinner of anything that you would like, If you want to drink alcohol, try to save it for one night a week. Drink your alcohol at that cheat meal, and also have your 4 cookies after your cheat meal. Put it all in one meal. Now, I know a lot of people would say, oh, that's too much at one meal. Of course it is, but get it out of your system. Enjoy it. Really enjoy it. And then I think you'll find after doing that, you might have 1 cookie afterwards because you don't need the 4. Like the first cookie is better than the 4th one. For most people, I think you would, I don't know, maybe there's someone out there who says the 4th one is better because they didn't even taste the first 2 because they just inhaled them all. Think about your food as you're eating it. That's one thing that I try to do now with my cheat meals is really enjoy it. Like really taste the flavors, really enjoy all of those things that my taste buds crave, not necessarily my body, that's for sure, but the taste buds. And get it out of your system and then you're done so that you don't get a blood sugar and inflammatory spike with every meal or every day of the week. You get it with one meal. So I prefer, yes, let's get that. You will create inflammation. There's no doubt about it. You will create maybe some blood sugar dysregularity and some extra detox work for the liver, but you're done. Then you get it out of your system. So that's how I prefer to do it. I don't hold back. Whatever I want at that cheat meal, I can have. But now I typically don't get too crazy, but I do. I enjoy what I would like. So that's it. You follow your daily foundational protocol for your supplements. You try to eat a good whole food meal. You try to stay predominantly plant-based. You'll keep the results coming. That's what it's all about. As one of my old clients used to say, creating potential, is like you lose the weight, you do a detox or so, and then you go back to the old style of living. And you kind of like, you create that inflammation again. And then 12 weeks later or whatever they would do is like you create that potential and you do it again. But I would prefer, you don't have to be perfect, but you take a lot of it with you. That's what I ask. All right. Next up, I want to share with you that I have a brand new video presentation coming this Tuesday. So not a lot of people know this. I probably don't share it enough, but I am on the board, the advisory board for the Bioregulatory Medicine Institute. It is the foremost and leading institute for bioregulatory medicine in the entire world. So they have conferences once a year, I believe, in the US, and then there's the World Conference for Bioregulatory Medicine where it originated in Germany, and I believe it's in Baden-Baden. And if things go right, if things go according to plan, hopefully I'll be over there this coming first week of November in 2019, hopefully participating in that. But travel schedules, speaking, coordination, all that, has to be taken into consideration. So the Bioregulatory Medicine Institute, you've heard me speak about it before, amazing group of people who are really just about promoting what has been now a couple hundred years in the making of looking at the homeostatic systems of the body, looking at bioregulatory medicine from the perspective of what's called a homeotoxicology-based response, so that disease, just like the rain barrel effect, does not happen overnight. Systems of the body begin to break down, and as they break down, dis-ease of the body becomes very predictable. I did a few podcasts on this, so why don't I try to link up some of those today? I'd love you to learn more about bioregulatory medicine since it's not taught here in the United States. So my study in bioregulatory medicine had to do with postdoctoral certifications in homotoxicology. So great methodology, one that I recommend all natural health practitioners get into. And we teach about bioregulatory medicine as part of the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute. So what I'm going to say is this coming Tuesday, I'm going to do about a 30 to 40 minute presentation on cortisol, inflammation, blood sugar dysregulation. And that'll be a nice little slide video presentation with myself on video as well. We will post a video of that this coming Tuesday. I was going to do it as a webinar, but I'm actually going to record it. And then I'm going to do a follow-up bioregulatory medicine Q&A. And then we'll be able to do that as a podcast for our people as like a Cabral house call on the weekend house calls. So definitely tune into that. I will send over a link for it. And then if you are on Instagram or you're part of our support group at cabralsupportgroup.com, it's a free Facebook group. Check it out over there, cabralsupportgroup.com, or my name, Stephen Cabral, and Stephen with a PH. Just head on over to Instagram and I will post that day when it goes live. And then we'll take questions that day or so, and we'll turn them into a nice little Q&A podcast. All right, so great organization, more to come with everything they have going on as well. All right, last thing before we get into my reviews, and that is free bottles of magnesium. I think we have around 60 bottles left. So my team over at equilibriumnutrition.com came up with an amazing promotion. We had an abundance of full spectrum magnesium bottles. They know that it's one of the number one things that we use in our private wellness practice. Hopefully you did tune into this past Wednesday's show. If you did not, check out episode 1160, StephenCabral.com/1160. The 7 signs you're magnesium deficient, or 7 signs of magnesium deficiency. Super important to check out. And the reason is this. We have done thousands upon thousands of hair tissue mineral analysis. 9 out of 10 people are functionally deficient in magnesium. It affects everything from energy to brain fog, to the ability to produce fuel for the mitochondria, to regulate blood sugar, to relax the arteries and help to prevent cardiovascular disease, to help with high blood pressure. It's extremely important. Most people are functionally deficient. I go through the reasons why they are on episode 1160. But here's the nice thing. While supplies last, and I have to say that because it is while supplies last, we're giving away a free bottle, which is a $49.95 value because it's about a 2 or 3 month supply. There's 180 capsules in there. We're giving it away completely free. So it's a $50 savings for anyone that spends over $99 at equilibriumnutrition.com. I'm making a big deal about it because this is a big deal. You basically spend $100 or $99 and you get back $50. You get a free product, which is one of our best products, most used in the wellness practice for free. So check that out. Head on over to equilibriumnutrition.com while supplies last. All right, let's move on to one of my favorite, I want to call it gifts because it's like a gift to myself. And I was at a conference about 2 months ago. This company called ProMedic had just come out with a brand new shiatsu. It's called Insta Shiatsu IS 4000. Previously, they had the IS 3000 foot massager with air compression and heat. So it's pretty much one of the most amazing things I've ever used. If you listen back 2 years ago, I gave a review on a foot massager back then, and it was great. It was great. Don't get me wrong. It was a good one, but nothing compared to this one. It had the heat before, it had the rolling, the balls along the bottom of the feet, fantastic. But you had to apply direct pressure. And it didn't feel like someone was actually giving you a foot massage. So here's the thing. I want to take a little step back. Most people don't give foot reflexology the due that it deserves. Meaning, if you've ever had a good foot massage, not just like an amateur foot massage where they're just kind of like touching your feet and, okay, fine. But if you've ever had a real foot reflexology massage, keep in mind, massage therapists are not trained in foot reflexology. They're trained in massaging the bottom of your foot, yes, but not in foot reflexology. I didn't know about the power of foot reflexology until I started studying traditional Chinese medicine and then understanding they actually had this in Ayurvedic medicine as well and got to actually practice it and really feel the power of it. And now I'm hooked. And the reason is this. I started looking into it more. There's a lot of people with fatigue and nervous system-based disorders, and they get a lot of benefit from acupuncture, acupressure, and foot reflexology. And here's why. When you work on acupuncture, or acupressure is called the Marma point therapy in Ayurvedic massage, again, just like Chinese medicine, Ayurveda and Chinese medicine share a lot of the same philosophies. Talk about it in a little bit different way. And when you do foot reflexology, any one of those three, you're actually working on your nervous system. A lot of people don't realize that because they get caught up in meridians, they get caught up in channels. They're like, what do you mean this is my liver channel or liver meridian? There's only one liver, and they just don't get it. But here's the thing. Let's step beyond that. What I try to do is bridge Eastern and Western medicine and the ancient-based philosophy with state-of-the-art. What we're talking about is energy and the nervous system. Well, if you think about it, you're on your feet, and you have a lot of nerve receptors on the bottom of the feet. Those are called proprioceptors. We've got a lot on the fingers and the hands, got a lot on the feet, and we've got a bunch on the face as well. Like those are like the main places, lips, face. So here's the thing. When you massage the hands or massage the feet, or if you ever gotten a facial or head massage, it's unbelievable. It relaxes the body and moves you to the parasympathetic nervous system. Even if you don't believe that there's a spot on the bottom of your foot that correlates with the adrenals, a spot that correlates with the liver, a spot that correlates with the brain, colon, if you don't believe that, that's okay. what I want you to understand is that when you calm the nervous system, you get the benefits of pushing the body out of this fight or flight and into the deep parasympathetic nervous system where true healing can start to begin. And when that begins, the energy-based issues, the stress-based issues, the brain fog, they start to dissipate, which is why I'm such a huge proponent of foot reflexology or foot massage. So I looked forever for a device like this. To my knowledge, this is the only one that exists because you put your foot into what looks like a droid from Star Wars, like almost like R2-D2, like moving around on the floor. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Not Star Trek, Star Wars. There's a difference. So when you do that, when you put the whole foot in, you get the whole foot massaged as if someone's holding it in their hand. And this one comes with 3 different settings, depending on how strong you like the foot massage. It comes with heat, so it brings more warmth for those people that have poor circulation. And it also, this one comes with, if you get the heavy duty one, it comes with a air compression for the lower legs, so on the calves. So it basically moves the lymph and it moves the blood. It pumps it back up to the heart. So huge fan. It comes with a preset 15-minute runtime, which means it will turn off automatically after 15 minutes, knowing that you just got a nice little 15-minute foot massage. You want to click it on again, it takes a second to get started again. You can do a nice little 30-minute. Again, you could turn it on and off whenever you'd like. It comes out of the package all set to go. You literally press the power button, even if you don't know how it works. They make it pretty simple. It goes power button, heat button, 3 levels of strength of massage, and then it goes with the type of massage it gives you for like a rolling massage for shiatsu, for more squeeze in the legs or a combination. And then the last button is for air, and it either compresses. You actually don't need to use the air if you don't want. So if you just want a quick foot massage without the compression pieces that go around the lower leg, then great. So again, huge fan. Doing a foot massage and closing your eyes and putting on binaural beats. I'm going to go into some of the routines I do for deep rejuvenation. It's going to be a big part of what I talk about in the future, but right now, there's so much to talk about. But you put your foot in this. You give yourself a foot massage while lounging back, eyes closed, eye mask on if you want, and you put on some relaxing music, maybe a favorite podcast, or some binaural beats. If you're wearing a heart rate variability monitor, you'll see yourself shift to that parasympathetic nervous system. Huge fan. And when I went on their website just to look for a little bit more information that I could share with you, because I really am a fan of this, and I'll link it up in just a second, they have a quote from Oprah that says, "When I tried this foot massager, I swear fireworks lit the sky, waves pounded against the shore, and a choir of angels sang." This is some powerful pampering, which is kind of hilarious. So, and Oprah's great. So I wanted to throw out a little quote from her. So you have Oprah's review, you have my review. You can decide which one holds more weight. So here's the thing. I'm going to link it up. It's a very specific one because they have a bunch of different massagers. You can look at the whole company. The whole company is called True. It's TRU Medic. And what I'm going to do, though, is see if it's on Amazon for you. I'll link up their website as well. But if it's on Amazon, which I'm looking right now, and it is, it gets a 4.7 rating. That's pretty good. So I'm going to link that up and make sure you're getting the newest model. And that's it. So if you want to try it out, check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. All right, let's move on to the next one. I wanted to bring this to you. And the reason is that I love being on the cutting edge of research, meaning I'm not doing the research, right? So there's the thing. I do research as in I read a lot of studies. I'm always on what's going on right now. And you'll see on next Friday's podcast, I have, a gut-based study in autism because I've been doing gut-based work in autism for a decade. I studied under Dr. Natasha McBride with the gap space protocol many, many years ago. This is before, I don't know if Dr. McBride, sorry if I'm saying her name incorrectly. I apologize, Dr. Natasha, if I'm saying your last name incorrectly, but it's the gap space protocol and it's fantastic. Now, of course, I do think that you need to tweak these things because the problem with the gap space protocol is it addresses the microbiome. Let me rephrase. I took it 10 years ago. I don't know what they're doing now, but I know it does work because a lot of my colleagues, a lot of the research, it shows that we don't know always the exact trigger for autism, but we do know that the gut is typically always related with it. And we see children with autism often with higher levels of Clostridia-based bacteria. And you can see that on an organic acids test. We love, if someone has autism, run an organic acids test, run a stool test with your local functional medicine practitioner, integrative health practitioner, etc. Amazing, right? But here's the thing. Now we have more and more research showing that you need to work on the gut. So I'm gonna share that next Friday. And I don't even know how I was going into that right now. Oh yes, that's what I was saying, is that I don't perform the research in the lab, right? Other people do that. Great PhDs, MPHs, like they're doing a lot of that research, which is fantastic. I look at the research. That's my job as more of an integrator. And then I say, how can I use that in my practice? What can I use that would work with this? That's maybe a little bit more natural. I put it to use, and then I teach it to hopefully the world. Like that's, trying to get it out to as many people as possible. I wish I reached the whole world. Not yet, but obviously the more we get this message out, the more people we can reach. So today's study, though, is one on lowering blood pressure, lowering chance for heart attack, and boosting memory and cognition. Pretty much great for everyone, right? Especially as we age, because as people age, they get a stiffening of the arteries. And when you get that stiffening of the arteries, you have a greater chance for higher blood pressure and heart attacks. So no matter who you are, we want to try to reduce this and lessen this. This works for exercise, as you'll see that the people currently using it right now are elite athletes and people able to find it. But it's called inspiratory exercise medicine. Let me just check out the exact link here. And it's called Novel 5-Minute Workout Improves Blood Pressure, May Boost Brain Function. Okay. And it was done out of the University of Colorado. So I'm going to bring this to you, the full study. I will link up for you today. All of these show notes, everything today will be at stephencabral.com/1162. So just head on over to stephencabral.com/1162. I should probably start saying that in the beginning of the show going forward. So here it is. It's simply 5 minutes, and it's called Inspiratory Muscle Strength Training. And so you're actually not training the muscles as you would think, like your chest and your bis and your tris and your glutes. So what you're doing, though, is strengthening the muscles of respiration or breathing. So what this device does, and it's very unique, it's very interesting, and they've spent a lot of money on this research, is that think about putting a device that almost looks like the air thermometer. So a thermometer that you would use for the air. Think about putting that in your mouth, and what it does is it's sucking through that, sucking basically into the mouth, the air, and you are sucking back. So you're having to actually work on your breathing, on improving your inhalation of oxygen. I wish they did it through the nasal passages where breathing should take place, but they do have very good results right now on doing it orally through the mouth. So hopefully in the future, if you're listening, we need to get one that's done through the nose, because you'll actually be able to bring in more oxygen, as we've shown with countless studies, and also, again, going back to all of the chi-based breathing where we start to breathe in through the nose. Check out my interview I did with Dr. Belisa about 100 episodes ago back, and that was a great one on breathing. But here's the thing. We already have the research. We already have the clinical studies showing that after just 6 weeks, and this was not even the intended result. Pretty amazing when we get all these great results. They're not even intended. But what happened was this. Just 30 inhalations per day. We've seen it help people with sleep apnea, seen it help with also blood pressure. So 30 inhalations, about 5 minutes after 6 weeks, systolic blood pressure, okay? So basically the top number when you're getting your blood pressure reading dropped by 12 points. Now that's huge, because that would take someone from a 140, let's say they're a 140 over 90 with high blood pressure, to a 128. Now they know, maybe a 128 over, let's say 78. They no longer have high blood pressure. They no longer need to be on medication. And blood pressure medication is one of the worst. It turns people into zombies. Why? It doesn't allow you to constrict, right? It doesn't allow you to move that body. So you turn into literally a zombie. And I don't want to see that with people. I don't want people to die of strokes either. So again, I understand both sides of the argument. I'm not going to be ignorant to the fact that if someone's not willing to change their diet, if they're not willing to exercise, if they're not willing to figure out what the underlying root causes are, well, yeah, then they need medication. I get that. I understand it. But here's the thing. What I really want to do is help people rebalance at a natural level so they don't need to be on a cocktail of medicine. All right. So that's that. I'm going to link it up today. It is called Inspiratory Muscle Strength Training. It was done at the University of Colorado. I will link up the study, and this is pretty recent. April 8th, 2019. How's that for cutting edge? Just a few days ago, it was published. All right, check it out. So next up, and again, you can look for institutes that are already implementing that, and you'll be able to go find these places or even ask your pulmonologist or other people where you might be able to take advantage of this. And then hopefully in the future, they'll be able to have these for home use as well. All right, so last one I want to talk about is lab testing. Each and every Friday for 2019, I am bringing you how to read your labs, how to understand them yourself. So in 2018, my goal was to teach you about why we can become deficient on all these different vitamins and minerals and great herbs, etc. So that when your doctor says, oh, there's no research behind vitamin B6, or there's no research behind taking whatever, coenzyme Q10, you can say, that's actually not true. And you might want to do a little bit more research yourself. Or don't say that and just politely say, thank you, I appreciate your input, and then walk away. So what I want to bring you in 2019 is how for you to better understand your labs, because when most people get their labs, so a lot of people have been ordering functional medicine labs, and they've been ordering them all over the place. But here's the thing. Nobody tells you what the results mean. It's not worth it to get a lab test if nobody reads the lab results to you. And we've been trying to tell people that. That's why at equilibriumnutrition.com, we send a lab test right to your home. 19 different countries. And then I read the results. I give you my recommendations. You get on a call with one of my health coaches, my integrative health practitioners in my practice, and they explain what the results mean. And then they explain your protocol, and all of that is built into the lab price. So that's the thing. It doesn't just matter getting a lab test done. You want to get the right program personalized for you. But the one I want to talk about today is an IgG immune marker. So it stands for immunoglobulin G, and it's one of the more delayed, latent, and chronic-based signs of inflammation, especially around food-based sensitivities. But I'm going to read it a little bit differently today. So if you haven't heard about a food sensitivity test, I do recommend going back to previous podcasts and just type in food sensitivity, and you will get a bunch of podcasts on that. So IgG is a great way to test for food sensitivities because most people, so today's Friday, if you're listening to this, you have to think about all the foods that you ate Tuesday night and Wednesday. Can you remember 3 days ago what you ate? Most people can't, because you've had about 3 or 4 different meals per day, and maybe each one of those meals contain 3 or 4 different items. So you're at like 30 different items in a day. And now you have to think back at which one of those caused you a food sensitivity, because IgG means the reactions such as the headache and skin rash and brain fog and lethargy and joint pain, etc., could happen 2 or 3 days after eating a specific food. So an IgG food sensitivity test shows you what sensitivities to what foods you have. So it takes the guesswork out of it. But I want to teach this from a little different way today, because we often see people come in with, like a sensitivity to dairy and gluten, and they are sensitive to those. We say, okay, that's fairly normal. Most people are sensitive to cow's milk-based dairy from an IgG perspective. We've seen that. But some people come in with like 7 or 8 different foods elevated. And we say, all right, there looks like right now, without doing an intestinal biopsy, there's some type of increased gut permeability or increased intestinal permeability or leaky gut, whatever you like to refer to it as. Now, with that, well, the more times you eat, and of course, every time you eat, you're spilling these proteins, because we're not testing for sugars, we're testing for proteins. You spill them into the bloodstream. And when that happens, your body creates an immune-based reaction that creates a lot of inflammation to all of these different foods you're sensitive to. So it's amazing to look at that. So if you have a lot of food sensitivities, a lot of IgG reactions, keep in mind this is chronic-based inflammation, and you most likely have a lot of, or at least some increased gut permeability. And that needs to be fixed. So you can either do the Candida bacterial overgrowth protocol, or you can just start with the CBO finisher, the one that heals and seals up that gut. But I want to give you the other side of the equation. Not a lot of people look at this, and I have been teaching this in the Integrative Health Practitioner Level 2 under the food testing, which I believe is it's the second module after the welcome module. And we go over that some people, you don't see any black lines. That would mean like no reaction to anything, not even like a small healthy reaction. When we see this, we know that person most likely has gone through chronic inflammation and chronic gut-based issues. And now we have what's called a shut down gut, or really shut down immune system, not turned off completely, but dysfunctional, where it's no longer responding in a healthy manner. Both the highly elevated and the not elevated at all both need help. because we want a healthy response to inflammation. We want a healthy immune response. We don't want an elevated or nothing at all. So the IgG test for food sensitivity can really tell you a lot of information, not just about the foods you're sensitive to, but how healthy the immune system is, as well as the permeability of the gut. So hopefully that was helpful. We'll link up the food sensitivity test. We'll link up all sorts of things for you to check out at stephencabral.com/1162. And don't forget to tune in this weekend as we go over our Cabral house calls, where we answer all of your community questions that come in each and every week. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Truly appreciate you. And as always, do feel free to pass this show along to anyone else you believe it could serve. Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing, and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at equa.life, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquaLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests, or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.